Can you guys hear my voice?
Yes, madam.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. Okay. So let's just get right into our session for today. Before that, I would like to say some Hari Raya, Maaf Zeh Batin to everybody here. I hope you guys are having a blast, having a good time with your family. And also, it's very hot, isn't it? So I hope you guys are staying cool wherever you guys are. Cool yourself because obviously, for example, me, I have not been feeling myself. I have not been feeling well for the last couple of days because it's so hot. So please stay. I hope you guys are doing well, unlike me. Okay, let's get started with our class for today. In any occurrence, if you guys cannot hear my voice or if you guys are losing me because of the internet, can you just let me know in the chat box or just text me in our WhatsApp group. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very short briefing for UHL2432. My name is Farah, in case you guys forgot about me. And what we want to do in our class for today is very easy and simple, and that is to brief everybody here of your upcoming assessment that is on the mock job interview itself. So, for your information, ladies and gentlemen, the assignment is 30% of your whole grade. As we all know, there are only three assessments for UHL 2432. This will be the second assessment for this semester. Now, I want everybody here to observe this rubric or the first page of the assignment because it will indicate how you guys will be marked, how you guys will be assessed for this particular assignment. This is a group work. However, there are marks for individual marking. There are some components in which each and every one of you guys will be evaluated as a whole, as a group, and there are also marks that you guys will be evaluated individually. But during the session itself, as I mentioned, this will be performed in groups. And I also have asked everybody here to complete the sign up sheet for the grouping for the assignment in our WhatsApp group. Now, the due date for the sign up would be this coming Friday after 12 p.m. That is during noon, not in the middle of the night. Okay. Now, after 12 p.m., probably at 2 p.m., I will be assigning and completing my schedule and I will inform you of the final grouping. Any of the students who did not complete any the sign up sheet, you guys will be placed in random groups. What I would advise you guys to do is to create your own WhatsApp group by yourself. Please do not include me in the WhatsApp group. Now, the reason being said is because there are two stages for this particular assignment. The first stage is where you as an individual will be asked personal question one-to-one. The second stage will include a group interview or a group discussion that I believe you guys can prepare in advance. So I will be sharing with you guys more tips on how you can do well in the first and also the second stage in a bit. But I would suggest you guys to create your own WhatsApp group for you guys to decide, sorry, for you guys to discuss and also talk among yourself in the group. Also, this is also a good practice because for your final assignment as well, you will be working with the same group of people, right? So if you guys look at here, you will notice that for your second assessment, you will be evaluated based on three components, which are the language, the content, and also delivery. For each one of the stages, there are marks for language, there are marks for content, and also there will be marks for delivery as well. All right. Okay, so let's take a look at the marking scheme for this assignment. You guys can see my screen, right? I'm not just hallucinating and not just talking. Can I get confirmation that you guys are seeing my screen right now?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you very
ma'am.
much. Okay, so if you look at here, there would be different marks for individual students. Okay, let's say your name is Sarah and second is Mark, third is Chan, and fourth is um, Jaya, for example. All right. So for each one of these marks, okay, for each stage, so there are two stages, stage one and also stage two, that is the grouping. Stage one, even though your friends will be there, you will be asked question one to one. So your friends will be listening to your answers as well, just to give you guys some general idea about that. Okay. As you can see, there are three questions that will be asked. There are three questions that we are going to ask you in the first stage, right? And for each one of the question, you will be given, or the marking will be out of 5. Okay. For language, we are looking at the pronunciation. We will be looking at the grammar, sentence structure, things like that, and also the vocabulary that you guys are using. And finally, the fluency of it. Now, fluency means that when you're talking, it's very fluent, it's nonstop, and there is no pauses and hesitation when you speak. So that one will fall under language. For content, again, there will be 3 questions that you guys will be asked. Finally, in terms of delivery, there are different marks. Okay, for the first one, we're looking at the organization of your thoughts. So you can say, oh, I have 3 hobbies. My first hobby is blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. So there is some coherence and also some links between the ideas when you speak. Okay, so that one will be evaluated out of 5. Next is we're looking at your demeanor, whether or not when you speak, it's very persuasive, it's very confident, and also enthusiastic. Now, for this one, I can immediately look at your enthusiasm when you first join the link. During the mock job interview, as I mentioned, it will be done in online mode. Okay, so let me just show you how it looks like. Okay, so basically, hold on. Okay, so I will be sharing with you guys something like this. Once you guys have finalized your group members, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to give you this schedule, this time slot. Okay, so for group number 1, okay, blah, blah, blah. This is your interview time and interview slot. One group, 30 minutes. And then you will be getting a link. Now, when you click on the link, ladies and gentlemen, I can immediately see your enthusiasm. Some students, they're very quiet, they're very reserved. But again, interview is the only time where you want people to like you, you want to attract people's attention. I'm not saying that you need to or something like that, but for the confidence and enthusiasm that can also be reflected immediately once you enter the link. Okay, so a very confident person will address the interviewer saying, Assalamualaikum, how are you? Miss blah blah blah. Have you eaten? When you have the small talks, it can also show how confident you are. It can also show how excited you are for the interview itself. So those are some of the things that I might evaluate and I might see in the link or during the mock job interview itself. So it's not just during the time per se. Okay. Now, the next one is for you to prepare some supporting documents. Now, before you guys go for your mock job interview, you need to prepare 5 different documents. I will be explaining in greater details about what kind of documents that you have to prepare, where to submit the documents. Those information will be informed to you guys in a bit. But all in all, one document, one mark. Okay, one document, one mark. I'm going to tell you guys in more details after this. Next one is also positive interview mannerism. So just now I spoke about how you can immediately see the demeanor of a person when they first entered the link. You can see if that person is very positive, or you can actually see if that person doesn't want to be in the interview itself. So those are the things that we can actually immediately see when you start clicking on the link. Okay. Finally, also very importantly, is on the appropriate attire. I know that when it comes to online interview, it's very limited in a way. What can you present yourself in? Okay, so I would suggest you guys to wear business casual. We talk about different kind of clothing before, so I need to see that you guys are wearing your tie, you guys are wearing your blazers, and for girls, I need you guys to put on some makeup a little bit to show that you guys are ready for an interview. So this should actually be like an actual interview itself. Okay, so here are the marks for the first one. And then for the next one, it's almost the same thing as well. Okay, so you guys can have a look at it once you got the slides in a bit. Okay, it's almost the same information, so I'm not going to repeat it over here. Okay, so I need to tell you guys the flow and how it went and how it's going to be so that you know what to anticipate for the upcoming week. So for this week, what you have to do for your second assignment is for you to complete your sign up sheet for the grouping. So if you look into your WhatsApp group, you can see that we have done like a WhatsApp chain for you to sign up for your upcoming assignment. As I mentioned, once you have completed the sign up, I will create a timetable and also give you guys the link to your to your mock job interview later. Then once you guys have completed your sign up sheet, you need to also submit to me your documents for your interview. Okay, so documents should be submitted before you guys go for your interview. Next is for you guys to double check and also look at your time slot for the mock job interview. For this time slot, I will give you guys uh, the beginning of the week before your interview in week 8. Okay, sorry, week 9. Okay, your interview will be in week 9 and also week 10. Sorry, week 9 and week 10. Okay, I can give you guys the schedule and the time slot at the end of week 8. Don't worry. All right. Finally, it's for you to attend the mock job interview itself. Now, it's very important for me to highlight this that you only have to attend during your session only. Okay, so let's say, for example, your session is on Monday, 19th of December, 8 a.m. Unfortunately, okay, so all these three people need to make sure that you guys are in the link. Make sure that you guys are not late. So if you guys are late, there are marks for positive mannerism and stuff like that. Those are the things that will be graded as well. So make sure that you maintain professionalism as well. Okay, let's say, for example, Irwin, Naveen, and Jay have completed their interview. So you guys can basically rest for 2 weeks and just enter the class in a face-to-face mode after the SPL. So the point here is very easy. If you guys go early, you can complete the assignment early and you can complete and finish and be done with your assessment earlier. So it really depends on you, especially with your time and also your schedule as well. But I believe the faster the better to me. Okay. All right. Any questions so far? Or maybe you want to ask later once we complete everything. You guys can also ask later as well. Okay. So as I briefly mentioned just now, there will be 2 stages of the interview. Okay. For each group, you guys can have about 3 to 4 students. 3 to 4 students in one group. You cannot have more than 4 students in a group. The first stage of the interview would be one-to-one session. During this stage, I will be asking personally one-to-one for each member 3 questions. The 3 questions would most probably be about themselves, about the job descriptions, and also about their own qualification and experiences that they have. So one person may have different experience, different qualifications, even though you might come for the same job interview. Now, I have some students asking me, Miss, is it okay if my friends, they don't apply to the same position as I am? It is still okay. All right, so I understand that you guys have the first assignment where you choose a company and also a position. Some of your group members may not have the same position and company. It's okay. At the end of the day, you only have to understand what is the job description based on the assignment that you, the advertisement that you have chosen. because there might be questions asking you about the job descriptions as well, and how your qualification might match or might not match with the job that you are applying for. Okay. Um, the second stage is involving a group discussion. So this is where I mentioned that you guys can immediately prepare yourself for this in a way that you can ask your friend, okay, who wants to speak first, who will be leading the discussion, who will be saying this, who will be saying that. So all of those things can actually be prepared in advance before you guys go for your actual mock job assignment. Okay, so in real life setting, that is not the case, but I'm just telling you guys a life hack over here. So you guys can start early to prepare for your group discussions as well. Okay. All right, during the group discussion, ladies and gentlemen, I will not be interrupting you guys. I will not be asking, okay, who wants to add more, da da da. You guys have to lead yourself. So that is why I need you guys to um, discuss among yourself who will be speaking what, who will be doing that, da da da. So make sure that your group discussion would be about 10 minutes for everybody. Okay, now for the group discussion, I will be giving you guys the topic. Okay, so let's say, for example, this is the group discussion stage 2. I will be sharing the topic for your discussion in the chat box. You have 1 minute for you to prepare, and then you need to start talking and also discussing. One of the things that I often see is that students, they read from the internet. They will be searching. Trust me, when you search, I can see the lights from your laptop and I can see your eyes. You're moving here and there, and you will lose a lot of marks over there. So please do not do that. That is also the same thing goes into the one-to-one session. I always see students reading from their laptop or from their phone, and that causes them to lose a lot of marks. So please do not do that. Okay. All right. So the next is for you to submit your documents. What are the documents that you have to submit? So basically, you need to give me 5 documents. The first one is to give me a certificate of your highest level of education completed. Now, I understand that in your first assignment, some of you guys mentioned that you guys have graduated, blah, blah, blah. And that might be an overstretch because you have yet to graduate. So what we are going to give you guys some leeway is that we want you guys to give us your exam result from any semester at your UMP to substitute for your bachelor's degree certificate. So basically, you can choose any semester that you have done in UMP, and you need to give us the result of the uh, result of the slip, your result slip, basically. Okay. Also, one more thing, okay, please make sure that you rename your supporting documents. Let's say, for example, for the first one, you want to talk about, okay, degree certificate underscore your full name. Okay, if you do not label, okay, or save your documents appropriately, marks will be deducted. So please remember this. Okay. Next, you need another certificate from the second highest level of education. Some students go through diploma, some students took STPM, some students took matriculation or foundation. Any of the levels or channels that you guys have been to, okay, please make sure that you submit to us the result of your second highest level. Okay, so again, please make sure that you rename the certificate and make sure that you have it underscore your full name. Okay, the next is for you to give us two extracurricular activity certificates from UMP. Okay, so please make sure that you gave us a certificate from UMP. I also know that some students will be asking, Miss, what if we don't have any certificate from UMP? Well, first and foremost, you really need to contemplate your life, thinking about whether or not you should be more involved in UMP. The reason why we want an extracurricular activity certificate from UMP itself is to ensure or to look at your contributions, your latest contributions. because some students would be giving us certificate from, I don't know, high school, primary school, which was actually, I don't know how many more years before. So if you really, really don't have any of certificates from UMP, we can actually give you guys some flexibility for you to give us any extracurricular activity certificate. But you need to make sure that it is given by an actual institution or a valid institution. Let's say, for example, you represented volleyball for your district level. So we want to see who gave the certificate and also where is this from? Is this from the Ministry of Education? I don't know, the district was organized by who. So we want to see those things. So if your certificate is very ajibaji or very weird or very, I don't know, unacceptable because we don't know who gave you this certificate, marks will be deducted. Okay, so for extracurricular activities, you have to give us 2 of that, preferably from UMP. If you don't have UMP, you can consider using other certificates, but priority has to be given to UMP. Finally, you have to give us the front page of your LinkedIn account. This is very easy because all of you guys have your own LinkedIn account. We did this in the class before, so this should be very, very easy. Again, for all of these documents that you should be submitting to me, all of these documents should be renamed beforehand with what kind of document it is and underscore your full name. Okay, so again, I would like to reiterate that marks will be deducted if you do not rename your documents appropriately. Okay, so what I am going to give you guys probably in week 8 is a Google Form link. For each one of the sections, you will be receiving a Google Form link, and you need to submit all 5 documents with appropriate renamed. The document has been renamed appropriately. Okay, you need to submit via Google Form. Okay, all right. So I also will be giving you guys your interview schedule at the end of week 8 as well. All right. Any questions so far regarding the process of your mock job interview? Any questions? Okay. I would like to proceed now to inform you guys a few important things that I feel like everybody here need to understand before you proceed with your assignment. Now, each one of you guys, every group, you will be receiving your schedule like this. Okay, your schedule like this. You will be receiving this. Now, please make sure that you double check on your interview time and also interview slot. Then what you need to do before your interview time, make sure that you do a run test with your computer. Okay, so make sure that you check your camera because you need to open your camera and also check your microphone. Some of you guys probably are using your own earphones or headphones. Make sure that it's working and also it's very clear. You are also advised to use your laptop rather than a handphone uh, for a few reasons. Number one, because of the background that you use and everything else is much more appropriate when you have a laptop on. Okay, the next thing that you have to consider before you start your assignment is to make sure that you choose the right spot for your assignment. Now, I understand that some of you guys are probably staying at home, some of you guys are staying with your housemates. Please make sure that you inform them that you have an assignment going on at this time and you need to make sure that they are quiet. I have seen people, housemates are interrupting during the interview itself. It's not very professional. And remember, this is English for professional communication. Those are the things that we might see and we might deduct your marks later. So make sure that you inform your housemate, your family members that you are going through. This examination is 30% of your marks, which is quite a lot if you ask me. And then choose the right spot. So I want to talk about lighting. Okay, make sure that you have a natural lighting if you can have it. If you are like me in the office, you need to make sure that the lighting is also good in a way that some students, their room is very dark. Okay, we cannot see you. That would somehow impede on the process of the interview itself. Okay, so I would suggest you to go and find a natural window so that you can get some lighting and make sure that we can see your face. Okay. Uh, Please make sure that you do not have the lighting above you because that will create some shadow on your face. And do not have a lighting behind you because it will be very difficult for us to see your face because the light is at the back. That would make a glare over there. Okay, so always opt for natural lighting, or if you don't have a natural lighting in your office or in your workspace, have some lightings, or make sure that you choose a place or a spot that can make sure that we can see you very, very clearly. Okay. Next is very important. That is your virtual background. Okay. So if you do not have an appropriate office, okay, you are only at home and you are only in your room. That's the only place that you can have a stable internet connection, for example. Please make sure that you guys download some appropriate virtual backgrounds. Here are some samples of appropriate virtual backgrounds. Do not choose anything weird because you want to maintain professionalism. Okay, choose something that is not too cluttering and something that shows office and also professional. Okay, do not go for anything weird as well. Okay, also very important is for you to avoid distraction. Do not have your housemate talking to you. Do not have your mom talking to you. And make sure that you do not have your phone in front of you because if some people text you or have a WhatsApp, I can hear like the notification bell, ding ding, and everything else. Okay, and if you guys are using your computer, make sure that you close your WhatsApp web and everything else. Okay, another thing is for you to sit up and dress professionally. Some students, before you start your interview, I will make sure that I can see your clothing. That is only fair for me. So I would suggest you to adjust your computer, your webcam, making sure that I can see your dress and your professional clothing. Another important thing is for you to look into the webcam itself. So this is something that I'm mostly guilty of as well because I would most probably be looking for other things for me to look at. But the best way or the best practice is actually just to look straight into the webcam. And another important thing is actually to use your body language. Okay, so when it comes to interview session, and I'm talking about this because this is actually my PhD topic, and I have very immense passion about this. And I really want to make sure that I'm helping many, many people out there. But when you go for an interview, a best way is actually to stay calm. And sometimes a lot of people, they do not know what to say. Confidence can come by calming down. You can interact with people more naturally when you have good body language. So you can see that your hands are moving very naturally, and make sure that we are able to see it visible in your camera. Okay. So please make sure that if you were to include some body language like your hands, gesture, and also facial expression is also very important that you keep smiling all the way. Those are the things that also will be contributing to your marks as well. Okay, so I definitely will be sharing with you guys more tips as we progress. We still have one more week next week in week 8, and I will be sharing with you guys some tips on how to prepare for each one of the stages. But because we don't have a lot of time, I'm going to be very quick on this one. So to prepare for your stage 1, most of the questions will be about yourself. So you don't have to be scared about it. You only have to make sure that you know what to answer and you be fluent and confident about it. So there only will be 3 questions that we will be asking you. Bear in mind, most of the questions that we ask you are actually based on the documents that you shared to us. So we will be looking at your resume. We will also be looking at your certificates, and we might ask you to elaborate more on that. So those are the things that we might ask you guys. Here, I'm giving you guys some links to some of the frequently asked questions, probably in the first stage. Like, tell me about yourself, or what can you contribute to the company? So all of those questions, I'm going to give you guys some videos for you to watch so that you know when you have to answer to those questions, how can you answer more effectively? Okay. Now, for stage number two, as I mentioned, it gets better if you know your friends personally, which is also the reason why I want you guys to choose your own group members instead of me giving you the group members. Okay, so when you're familiar with your friend, you are much more comfortable with them, and it will be much more easier for you to have a better discussion with them. As I mentioned, it will be best for you to have a own WhatsApp group where you guys can simply discuss and ask in the group on and prepare in advance for the second stage. Now, one of the things that I often see in the second stage is that when it's not your turn to speak, or when it's your friend's turn, you are looking somewhere else and you're like playing with your phone and you get bored. And that's very unprofessional and inappropriate in an interview. It looks like you don't want to be here, and it looks like you're not, you're not anticipating this interview at all. So what you need to do is actually to listen attentively to your friend and try to nod and pretend that you're listening, at least to pretend. Okay. Another thing that I often remind my students is that for you to be active and also not too serious, because here are your only your friends. So you can actually try to joke around and say like, "Oh, I really like your tie today. That looks very professional." Da, 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 da. So do not think that it's a very scripted kind of situation. You can also interrupt and also say, "Oh, I really like your point. I think this is very good." Da, da, da. When it's appropriate, you guys can also, uh, you know, interrupt the discussion. Okay, so here I have some sample question. Okay, some sample question. All right. Recently we had our general election. To many surprises, it took us longer to form a government because the result did not have any majority vote. Do you think that this is a good idea to have 18 years old teenagers to vote? So here is one question, sample question that you guys can think about. Okay, this is a sample question, not something for real. Okay, but what I would suggest you guys is actually to decide amongst yourself who will be speaking first, who will be doing this and that and that. Okay, so I have here some links for you to look at and to refer to for you to prepare for stage number two. Okay, here I'm also sharing with you guys some useful expressions. When you want to give opinions, you can use some of these words. You can say, as far as I'm concerned, from my point of view, I think it would be fair for me to say that, blah, blah, blah. When you want to agree with something, here are some of the phrases that you can use. When you only want to agree to certain extent, okay, you can use some of these words. If you disagree with your friends, which is also one of the very important things in group discussion, there wouldn't be a discussion when everybody agrees to something, right? So try to have some people to negate the points as well. And this is where we want to see your creativity and also your critical thinking as well. So I'm sorry, I beg to differ, I disagree, I'm afraid, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so if you guys have decided who will be speaking first and who will be leading, blah, blah, blah. So here is some template or some useful words that you can use. Let's say you are the first speaker. You can say, hello and welcome, guys. My name is da da da. I am one of the candidate for the position of this. Uh, I will be starting the discussion on the topic blah blah blah, and I would like to begin my point by agreeing to the topic for today. Da, 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 da. Then you say blah 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 blah. Can I know if does anybody has anything to add on, or Farhan, what do you think about this? Okay, so that is how you move from one speaker to another, and in order for you to get a nice structured in your speech, you need to have an introduction, a body, and also a conclusion. You can say, all in all, I believe that I agree with this because of this. Okay, something like this. So I'm hoping that by sharing with you guys this, it helps you to know how to structure your points better in your stage number 2 later. Okay, so that is all for the briefing. I know this is a lot, especially after you have done your Hari Raya, and I know some of you guys are still in Raya mood, and I'm so sorry that I had to do this, but I believe that it's best for me to prepare you guys in advance. Next week, I will be uh, sorry. So next week, our session would be mostly on preparing you guys to complete the assessment. Again, we won't be having any live session like this. If you guys want to have consultation or anything, feel free to email me and I'll help you as much as I can. Okay. If you guys have any questions, you guys can stay and ask questions. If you do not have any questions, you guys are good to go. Thank you very much for coming. I appreciate you guys for coming to our session, short one today. And I'm so sorry if I take too long for the session as well. Okay, so if you have question, you guys can unmute your microphone or even type your question in the chat box. If not, thank you very much for attending the session. I also will be sharing the link to the recording and also some of the slides in our WhatsApp group. Thank you and all the best, ladies and gentlemen. Selamat Hari Raya. Assalamualaikum.
Hari Raya, Madam.
Selamat Hari Raya.
Miss.
Thank you, Miss.
Bye.
Very nice.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you.
Ladies.
Sorry, Miss. May I ask about the document, the
Mm-hmm.
2 extra curriculum cert? Actually, I got joined one of the Chinese club, but the certificate is in Chinese. It's not in English. And I got joined the others event like participation, but it's not an club. But the but the participation is actually organized by UMP, like uh Resident Pelajar Tiga or the Persis. That one actually can I use for that?
From UMP, right?
Yeah, but it's not like the club, but it's just like participation, like I participate in their talk
Okay.
or competition also can.
Yes, can.
Uh,
To answer to your first question about the Mandarin, a certificate in Mandarin, unfortunately, you cannot use that. Number two, if you have any certificate from UMP, it doesn't really matter if you're only participant or you are the facilitator, it doesn't really matter. As long as it's from UMP, then it's fine.
Miss, if the certificate is in Bahasa Melayu also cannot, or must compulsory
English,
in.
preferably English.
Oh, okay. Thank you,
All right.
Miss.
All the best.
Miss, sorry for another question. May I ask,
Yeah.
if we do, if we don't have the STPM certificate, but we just have the slip, is it okay?
Yeah, can.
Okay. Thank you, Miss.
All right.